Hey, how's everyone going? I wanted to talk about this issue that I've been having for a long time. And one of the big issues that I've been having for a long time is Hollywood directors and how they portray black people. And the reason why I wanted to bring up the Tyler Perry versus Spike Lee issue is because you can see a drastic difference in the quality of black people amongst each of their films. And one of the things I've been wanting to point out is if you pay attention to Spike Lee's movies, you see that Spike Lee always has some social commentary in the background, but it's always so up in your face, but there's still something in the background. If you look at Tyler Perry's movies, it just seems like there's one narrative, and the narrative is something I can't stand: black men ain't shit. But we're going to dive into it. So, one of the things I want to point out is the fact that when I'm watching a Spike Lee movie, I feel like I'm learning something. I genuinely feel like I'm seeing something. I'm seeing a story. I'm seeing vision. I'm seeing the creative talent because, it's a Spike Lee thing. You know what I mean? And Spike Lee always hits the mark for the most part, in my opinion. Now, when you go into movies like School Days with how aggressive the college life can be with pledging and trying to get into fraternities, then you go on to Do the Right Thing. You go into all those kind of crazy movies. Jungle Fever, I believe, was Spike Lee. And Jungle Fever, something I wanted to bring up more into detail of that is how important it is to pay attention to that film because that movie has a conversation in it that's still happening today. And it's interesting to think that that big scene where the women are discussing, how black men are getting taken from black women by other races of women. Why is that? Are black men bad? This, that, and the third. And it's an interesting topic because it's a movie that I think actually does stand the test of time. But Spike Lee isn't inherently saying that black men are trash. If anything, I'd say that movie was the opposite. I would say he was saying, look, there's something that's going on in the black community that we need to fix, that we need to address. Here's my way of saying it. But the women actually ad libbed that scene, apparently, which is incredible to think about. So let that like sink in for a little bit. Then you go into Spike Lee's movies like Malcolm X with Denzel Washington, one of my favorite movies ever put to cinema. Denzel Washington was a great choice, well acted. He got gypped on the Oscar, but that's neither here nor there. And we learned about Malcolm X's life from start to death. 3 hours long. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite films put to screen, like I said before, and it is just an incredible experience from start to finish. If you want to see Denzel Washington act his butt off in his prime, there you go. If you want to see a great biopic, there you go. You want a Spike Lee movie that's just there and about it, there it is. So the thing is, like, it's like this narrative that goes forward. And I will bring up another Spike Lee movie in a minute. Excuse me. Where Spike Lee seems to be saying, here's what black people are capable of. Here's some problems in the black community. And here's what black people are capable of fixing. And this is what we could do. And these are things that we kind of need to do and how to get it in order in some degree. Some of his movies are wild. Like, some of his movies are wild. But then you fast forward to Tyler Perry. Now you have movies like Die of a Mad Black Woman, where rich guy left his dark skinned wife for a light skinned woman, and he threw her out the crib, and this and the third. Then karma hit him. Then a light skinned Joan left him. Then a dark skinned Joan took care of him. Then she's treating him bad. But I was like, karma's a bitch, ain't it? Because he shouldn't have did that to her. And that seems to be another narrative pushed on black men by Tyler Perry. Then you got Medea's Family Reunion, which I actually love those two movies. I do like Family Reunion a lot. And of course, rich dude, he got his light skinned girl, but now he beating her ass every time we turn around. Not saying it doesn't happen, but here's another narrative where black men are beating on the women, XYZ's happening. Then you had the dark skinned sister getting treated bad by the mom. Dark skinned sister, the mom let the uncle, I believe, grape her. the dark skinned sister. Then she got two kids. She's a single mom. And then here comes Boris Kudrow, the bus driver that black women seem to not want to date. He has a kid, and then they make a little blended family at the end. I don't have a problem with that. It's a great story. The issue is that there seems to be this narrative going on in Tyler Perry movies now. And you fast forward to all the other ones, and it's like going down the line. The only time Tyler Perry seemed to give black men some type of time to breathe was House of Pain, which is actually one of my favorite shows. I love House of Pain. And then Big Happy Family, which is a movie that is so bad, but I actually still like it because for once, the black man's experience of dealing with the black woman is put on screen, but it's not really drawn to. So then you have the one sister who actually was sexually assaulted by their uncle when she was 12. You find out, Byron, the youngest sibling, is actually her son, which is insane. But it actually makes you understand her character a little bit more. But then you have the other family where the sister is married. The other sister is married to a dude, and she's just terrible to him. And it's never explained why she's so terrible to him. But then eventually the brother puts his foot down. Seems like the marriage is getting healed. They seem things going. But for once, we actually got to see how terrible a baby mama could be towards the man. And she was weaponizing everything against him, making his life a living hell, using the baby as a weapon, using all kinds of things, even getting him locked up. While that brother was also dealing with a toxic girlfriend who really only wanted the money, and because she knew he could get the fast money from the drug dealing, that she was laid up with him doing this, that, and the third. As long as she had the money, it was what it was. That whole movie was the only time I feel like Tyler Perry actually put the black man's experience on display. But the movie was so over the top and ridiculous. And it's good because, going into the kind of like landing the plane here, is that there seems to be this narrative from Tyler Perry that I can't stand, is that we just can't be happy as black people. We can't just have a regular family, normal father, mother to the kids without the worst case scenario happening. And I understand that these things do happen, but damn, can we get one? At least Spike Lee's honest. Spike Lee isn't perpetuating all these issues without some kind of learning outcome from them. And that's where my next thing for Spike Lee comes in, where we talk about movies like Black Klansman, where we have a black man who, infiltrated the KKK without being seen because he had somebody else in there and it actually worked. And of course, the government swept it under the rug. See, that's the type of stuff Spike Lee will give us. He'll give us stuff like Do the Right Thing. He'll give us stuff like Malcolm X, but then he'll also give us stuff like Black Klansman, showing black masculinity in a positive light, showing that black men have problems, but we also have a lot of pluses to us. Whereas in Tyler Perry movies, I feel like black masculinity is either really fragile or really aggressive and uncontrollable. And there doesn't seem to be a middle ground until there needs to be one. Even in House of Pain, for the most part, CJ was a fairly good role model to the kids. Took care of the kids when Janine was on crack and then getting healed. And him and Janine get back together after some time and they make the family work again. I just wish Tyler Perry would fix the narrative. And it seems like he dropped some other movies recently called Beauty and the Black, where people were saying, like, what the hell was this? Why is this the only thing you make? And his response was just real tasteless. And even Kiki Palmer responded, was like, yeah, this is respectability politics. Why is respectability politics even a defense term for asking to be represented better in the media? And I've never heard these complaints about Spike Lee movies because Spike Lee movies are actually beneficial for black people, whether we want to admit it or not. The problem is that Tyler Perry is actually funded by people like Oprah and movie studios and stuff like that. So his movies are able to get publicly put out there bigger, and they're able to get addressed more and end up in a better position, even if his movies aren't that good compared to Spike Lee's movies, which are pretty damn bomb. Spike Lee, if he would have had the backing, the endorsements, the donations like Tyler Perry did, I believe Spike Lee having his own studio to do what he needed to do like Tyler Perry, the black media as far as cinema would be a lot bigger and would look better. But that's never supposed to be the case. Anything that makes us look good, they burn it, they tear it down, they try to reconstruct it in this weird way. And look at black media now. It's rare when Spike Lee puts out a movie now because he just doesn't get the funding. But everybody funds Tyler Perry. If Tyler Perry was so pro black, why wouldn't he put Spike Lee back on? Why wouldn't he donate some of that money of his studio to Spike Lee? If it wasn't for Spike Lee, there probably wouldn't be no Tyler Perry. And God rest his soul, but John Singleton too. You know what I'm saying? And John Singleton got movies like Boys in the Hood, Baby Boy, Too Fast, Too Furious, and things like that. And I have my issues with Baby Boy, but I still like the film. But even that movie perpetuates issues in the black community that aren't being glorified but need to be addressed. Same thing with Boys in the Hood. He talked about most problems that were going on in the black community in the 90s with the war, the drug wars, and the gang wars, and the hyper violence, and all those things. That was the whole point of Lawrence Fishburne's character. But I'll get into more on Black Hollywood in another video. But I'm focused on Spike Lee and Tyler Perry because I've noticed that, yeah, someone like Tyler Perry, who actually could benefit the community with his movies, did not get any kind of backing. But when it came to destroying the black male image with Tyler Perry movies, he got all this funding, all these grants. He got his own big old studio. He's bringing in women who are working on stuff. Then he got shows coming out. And even those shows seem to emasculate black men and make us hyper violent and hyper sexualized and all this other stuff. And I'm like, this isn't even the same Tyler Perry from 20 years ago. The Tyler Perry from 20 years ago had a much better message than what he has now. So how did we get from we can love each other if we just use God to get through it, God is always there with us, to all the Queen's Men and Beauty and the Black and all these hypersexual wild behind shows? Like, let Spike Lee get something like Tyler Perry. It would be different. He did shows like he did Chirac. I think he had something to do with the child, but I'm not sure. But then, they don't give Spike Lee no love. And it's so weird to me that they don't. So I don't know. But Tyler Perry puts out this toxic black community stuff, and black people eat it up all the time. Spike Lee brings out Black Klansman. It was nominated for Best Picture. He should have probably won. But that's just how we get dead out here. Anything for positive black people. That's why Black Panther was also nominated for Best Picture. Two big black movies that had positive black people involved, that had positive black male masculinity. They were nominated for Best Picture, and it was great. So where is more of that? Even the creator, John David Washington, positive black male role, cool to see. That movie didn't even blow up because of the writer's strike. We need more stuff like that. And Tyler Perry, this is where the versus thing comes in, where I would rather watch a Spike Lee movie from 40 years ago than watch a Tyler Perry movie now. Because it just seems like Spike Lee's movies got it. They spoke to black people. They got what black people were going through, and they still could. That's what Black Panther. That's why Black Klansman was such a big deal to me. It's one of my favorite films. I love that movie, but I can't think of a single Tyler Perry movie that's like in my top 100 even. So it's just something to think about. It's like Spike Lee or Tyler Perry. Do you guys think Spike Lee, if he had the same type of stuff Tyler Perry got, do you think Spike Lee would have a bigger impact on the movie industry? I believe so. Do you guys think so? Let me know in the comments below. If you think the same thing about Tyler Perry, if you think differently, I would love to hear your differences. But that's all for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.